I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
And this is Cult of Fire. On the funeral pyre of existence. This is from the... Is this from the True Cult?
True Cult.
The most mysterious, scary alliance in the underground of the village called the Clan. So we've got Village. Everybody can go there. Facebook.com/Vin and Sori. And then all you do, dear listener, if you want to be part of a clan or an alliance, is simply to $1 to gate a Patreon. It gets you in the gate, and then you get recruited by alliance leaders, the great Chris Culp, the great Pony, etc., etc. And it's genre specific. So if you're like drawn to black metal or classic death metal, that's kind of True Cult. True Cult is more like they've got the most mysterious people. They got Damon Sage. They got Alec. They got a crew.
Yep.
And so there you go. For timely topical political commentary, you can hit us up at Middle America with Vin and Sori. I just got some horrible news. Some of you know that I had a massively amazing and successful audition. And I got the part, but because of this COVID nonsense, they're canceling the play. So, there's that. That means nothing to most of you, but I feel sorry for myself. Okay. Cult of Fire, and you said the lyrics. We're going to try to remember to put the lyrics in the description because this is one of these, like, avant-garde bands that don't really have lyrics anywhere else on the internet, but the True Cult.
I'm just going to try to put that on the screen, this part, during the video.
Okay.
Not this whole thing, just down here where it's the lyrics.
I see. Well, there you go. Sori coming through with solutions.
All right, ready?
Let's go.
Go.
Jak słoneczny
Jeez.
Wow, that was...
These guys are black metal.
That was pretty ridiculous.
I'm gonna need to hear more songs from this band before I put them on Magua's level. But
I think they're better than Magua.
I knew you were gonna say that, curse you. Okay, the guitars sounded bright, like right from the beginning. I just the more and more black metal, man, like if you look at Freezing Moon till now, man, that genre has probably grown, matured, metastasized, whatever adjective you want to into. It's probably the most matured genre in music that I've heard. Just the variance, because these guys sound nothing like Magua, and Magua sounds nothing like anything from, you know. So it's just the diversity within black metal is pretty crazy.
I liked the vocals. I loved it instrumentally what they were doing with it. It was kind of like rising. It was like high. But it's weird because what we're talking about is like everything was ending.
Well, yeah, and you have. So I'm a 1-year student of Hinduism. You guys know how I am with Islam, and I was frustrated listening to this song because there were so many Hindu. Even in the picture, there's so many Hindu references.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, I'm familiar with that. Like Mahadevi is basically the ultimate female god. So Mahadev would be the ultimate male god. Okay. So, like, for example, like we've got a friend who's a bhakti practitioner, and he calls his guru Dev. Mm-hmm. I think Dev means God type of thing. So, like, his guru to him is basically God on the earth. Is basically the idea. Mm-hmm. So there's just a lot of things here. So Kali is, and it's interesting because Kali is also the term that they use to describe this age. So they'll say we're in Kali Yuga. Like, if you heard me talk to Adi about that, we're in Kali Yuga, and then so which means age of darkness. I'm pretty sure. So anyway, like there's so many intricacies to this, but there was another band that was pretty much really into.
I wonder if all their songs they're really into this, or this is just one song where they angled it this way.
Yeah, it's interesting because Kali kills Shiva, which is very interesting because up to this point I didn't know that. I only thought that Krishna could kill Shiva or boss him around, but Kali ends up. So Kali is a Hindu goddess or Devi of death, time, and doomsday. So that's why you have the lyrics that are kind of pointing toward, because you know, Kali is and is often associated with sexuality and violence, but is also considered a strong mother figure and symbolic of motherly love. So that's why you have. I mean, Mother herself is consumed, so he's talking about the universe, but she's like the soul of the universe and the universe simultaneously. And again, she's a Devi. I mean, she's a Mahadevi, which means she's like the pinnacle of the. So here's what I have from my Hindu friends. So according to them, Krishna is the ultimate personality of Godhead. So he's like the original. But then he emanates these other gods and goddesses to accomplish. So, like, for example, he wanted to know what it's like to have a dad or whatever, so he comes down as, well, that's not a good example because he came directly as Krishna to Vrindavan. But then there's Shiva, there's Balaram, so there's Caitanya. So Caitanya,
the one with the eyes that they make a plate.
Oh yeah, it's my favorite one. I forgot his name. The merciful guy. Yeah, Jagannath. Yeah, Jagannath.
I can't forget that one.
Not Juggernaut, Jagannath. So he emanates himself in all these different, you know, personalities or whatever that are gods and demigods, and so all of these, according to him, are just emanations of Krishna's different personalities or whatever. But then there are some of them that are like his ultimate personalities, and so Kali is one of them.
So there's like major personalities and then lesser personalities.
Yeah.
But all of them are him.
They're all him in some way.
But he's not Skrullo. He's not Kali and the one getting killed, right?
Yes, he is.
He's both. So he's killing himself.
Yeah. This is
one version of him is.
Well, it's his personhood. It's kind of like a Trinitarian.
That's really interesting.
It's kind of like a Trinitarian formulation, yeah. But there's like millions of them. There's millions of them, and so but again, this is
very hard to wrap my head.
This is from our friend's bhakti perspective. There's a lot more, and I'm just at the foot of the mountain. But it's massively fascinating. I'm going to be listening to my Hindu instructor tonight, Fashal, and I'm specifically going to be. I'm sure he has something about Kali. So. So she's a mother figure, but she's also a destroyer. She killed Shiva, which you got to be a pretty badass person to kill Shiva.
Look at that artwork.
And the thing is, it's a pretty. That's a screen cap Fashal. Mother will wake up from sleep again. Flood will reappear in the male world, right? And when the end comes, the world will also be consumed in the sun. So this is like scientific to some degree, especially that last one, the world will be consumed in the sun, because there's that perspective. The last era is near export, a dark depth of darkness is engulfing the whole world. So if he's talking about Kali Yuga, which is the period we're in now, I didn't know that Kali Yuga was the last era. I'm not sure. Keep in mind, this is a translation,
right? Which
I thought it always amazes me with these these bands that are their ability to write. And again, he wrote this in his mother tongue, but the translation is crazy. Like, for example, when he says, the universe is taking over the universe in darkness. Whoo! That was a crazy line.
Yeah.
The universe is
taking over the
because
universe
if you think about it,
in darkness.
If the universe like imploded on itself, right? Like, then what would be left? And whatever you say would be left would be the universe. It's like, how do you get to the edge? Can you get to the edge of the universe? And like, if you got to the edge of the universe, what's on the other side of that? We would just call it a universe. We just say the universe was bigger than we thought. Yeah. So that's kind of like a mind meld right there. So the universe is taking over the universe in darkness. I thought that was a brilliant line. So Kali Ma wakes up from a deep dream. Her mother's fiery breath is settling life to death. Right. So setting life to death. That's a very interesting line. Which again, so it's this really interesting dichotomy of, on the one hand, she's a mother, but on the other hand, she's like a primary destroyer, and a mother is a life giver, but she's a destroyer. It's I think there's some dualism there.
Because mother will wake up again, reappear in the male world.
Right. Yin yang, all that jazz. Yeah. What's interesting, obviously, as a Christian, I don't subscribe to worshiping any of these deities or whatever. You should only worship Yahweh. What is interesting to me, though, is that the thing that I found fascinating as I started listening to Hinduism is a very old religion. It's older than people were Hindus before Jesus showed up on the planet. So it's extremely old religion. And the thing about old religion, or any thought process or belief system, and this is one of the tragedies, in my opinion, of our current generation, is the lack of focus on the intellectual histories of all these various groups and how we got here and how they influenced us or whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
But one of the things that really fascinates me about Hindu philosophy, religion, whatever, is the deep thought process about existence in this world that is then sort of explicated and incarnated and lived out by these various gods, because they're all doing something. So one of them is about, Balaram is Bal means power, and then Ram I think means mercy. So Balaram is the combination of power and mercy, and I think, and so it's like they really did a lot of thought about the world and how things are and the paradoxes of the world, and in the gods that they either imagined or communicated with, and I genuinely don't know which is which. They embody those things, and then you follow along in the story and see how that particular concept is meted out. So like, there's one guy, Kitanya, and Kitanya is the... So Krishna has this wife named Radharani, and Radharani is like his ultimate love, like it's his main squeeze. And so in Caitanya is a human incarnation. This is getting very complex, but I promise you. So Caitanya is the Krishna wanted to know what it was like to be a person who worships him. So in one of his incarnations was Caitanya, and then Radharani said, "Okay, if you want to know what it's like to worship me, then send me down into Caitanya, so then he will have my devotion to you, because Radharani has the highest devotion." So, but at the same time, Krishna wanted to experience that. So what ended up happening in Caitanya is both of them. He is Krishna and Radharani, and the ultimate devotee. So it's fascinating, because now you look at Caitanya and you go, okay, at the human level, what does it look like to be completely devoted to Krishna or whatever. And like I said, I'm a Christian, so I'm not with it, but I do appreciate the depth of thought. Like if you look at this, the universe engulfing itself, the cycle of life and death, and then in the middle part, what was really crazy that I really enjoyed was, instead of doing a solo or something, they had the fire. They had the fire, and I thought the song was over. I was like, oh, it's kind of like zoning out. I thought the song was over, and then boom, it ended very, very short. But the guitars, like, I don't know how to describe it. Maybe it's all, maybe they were doing major chord progressions or whatever, but it was not what I would have expected sonically from a black metal band.
No, it took me, I traveled
really
a little
took me
bit.
by surprise. Yeah,
and I did not expect it.
I mean, there was some tremolo in the, and everybody knows I'm a sucker for tremolo, but it wasn't really, dependent on that. Like Magua, that's kind of their shtick. So it's just, she's a very, very deep person, and it's kind of looking at the end of the universe, which I think no matter what generation you're in, that's something to think about. Like, that's the ultimate question, like what's going to happen to our universe. Is it eventually going to die out? And based on everything we've observed, everything kind of dies out and fizzles out. So if you're looking at that at the macro level, it's pretty massive. So yeah, just a brilliant song. Really, really good. I will say this. I'm not going to say they're better than Magua or even close to them. But what I will say is that in the year 2020, this is my favorite black metal song so far.
They kept creeping up. My score kept creeping up.
Why?
I just kept liking it more and more. I liked it. When it first started out, I was like, oh, well, this is different than I expected it to be. And then, instrumentally, it kind of had that travel with me feeling. And then lyrically, it was a lot of times they'll have a nihilistic sort of view or take on the world and stuff. And this did, but it was kind of like a creative sort of. Right.
It was a beautiful way to describe the death of the universe.
Right.
I agree with
that. So that kind of was something different. I actually liked his vocal style. And then by the end, it kind of took me on a little more of a journey. So I'm like, okay, kept bumping up.
Yeah, and she has a multitude of different forms. And of course, for black metal, they're going to choose the scariest one. But she has a multitude of different forms.
She's the one with the necklace head?
She's all of She's all of these. These are the many forms of Mahadevi Shakti.
Yeah, and I've seen that one.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of heads on it.
Yeah, and in her necklace, it's just heads. If you see her necklace, that's
literally what I just said.
Oh, I thought you said she was holding on to the heads, which she is as well in that picture. But there's also a necklace that's made of heads. But you already said that. Yeah, it's pretty. But again, I was listening to one of these guys, and it's like, why is this focus on death, and why are you worshiping a god of death or a goddess of death or whatever? And he's like, it's part of life. And so if you think about it psychologically, it's like, if you worship something, then it's a lot easier for you to accept it. Right. Yeah. Right. So again, it's got that psychological utility that's extremely impressive, to where you're not running around on the earth with this massive fear of death or whatever, and you're seeing it. Like, I was listening to this guy who was talking about, this kid was walking by and somebody was on a pyre, they were setting fire, the person's dead, and the parent was shielding the kid, and the kid was, curious, and he's this weird, because the parent they were tourists, so the parent's like, and then this weird Hindu guy, it was him, he said, no, don't do that. He must see because he will eventually be on this. I was like, yo, my man, you're totally right. You were totally right. I just don't think that's a good play. But, you know, that's all he knew. He was immersed in that world, so he was confused as to why, you know, what's the problem here?
Yeah.
Like, what do you know, like, you know, and he said in a very short time she would be,
oh my gosh,
she would be on the, and he was smiling and, you know, you are not this buddy, you know, and, you know, like, I get it. Much love to the big homie. I don't really know what I would have done, you know, depending on how old the kids were, you know what I mean? Because I
need to light the fire on it?
No, not to light the fire, but like they saw this ritual happening, and the parent was trying to shield their kid from seeing it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I would have done. You know. I don't know. I think Zoe would like to see it. Dorian would be very traumatized, and Johan, it would be. You don't think Zoe?
Zoe, sometimes yeah, and then sometimes.
I agree with that.
Sometimes no. So.
Yeah.
I actually no. I don't think.
You don't think she would?
No.
Interesting.
No.
Well, good.
But anyway, it was a 9.8 for me.
I'll do it at 9.8. Best black metal song so far in 2020. I still love you, Magua. Nobody can change that. So there you are, dear listener.
Hey, if you like these nails, they're like literally so easy to put on. Mention something in the comment section because one of our fellow villagers sells them. So if you want information on how to get them, like you literally peel the sticker, stick it on, push down, and then you just file the edge, and then your nail is like on there for good.
Yeah.
And it's like stayed on really good. It's been 2 days for now, but by now my nail polish would have already chipped off. So
yeah. And
bunch of the designs.
Yeah, there's no sponsorship deal. She just really believes in this product. So there you are.
Ooh.
Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.